Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Jabroni Drive. On this week's episode, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Roman Reigns, The Rock, the Bloodline, Mama Rock. Will this be the greatest episode in Jabroni Drive's history? I think so. Timmy, what do you got to say to all the Schmid Lavelle-ites out there?
Tom, everyone knows that when you listen to Jabroni Drive, that you're a jabroni for life.
And that is just too clean.
I missed that. Did it backwards there.
It's okay. Jabroni Drive starts now. Oh, man. What are we even doing here?
I'm all over the place, Tom. I'm backwards. I'm inside. I'm outside.
Tim, it's WrestleMania season. You're fired up. You're ready to go.
We're 2 weeks prior, Tom, and momentum is building. Things are getting out of control. We've really turned up the volume, turned up the heat, if you will, the Sunday night heat, if you will.
Ooh. You know what? There's 10 days until WrestleMania as of this recording. We'll be airing this show tomorrow. For those of you that listen to our other show, you know that me and Timmy were on vacation. We were away. I just got back a couple hours ago, and we are recording to get that sweet, sweet content out to you as soon as we can. Professional wrestling, WWE, everything is ramped up 10 days away from WrestleMania. And if you're not already doing it, we do have a bus trip lined up. Text me, DM us, text Timmy, let someone know you want to go. $40 gets you a ride down to the stadium, a place to hang out, tailgate, music, games, other like-minded wrestling fans, maybe argue about who you think should win, debate, all fun. Leave your stuff on the bus, go into the show, no responsibilities, come out, get back on the bus and get a ride home. You don't have to worry about ordering an Uber with 100,000 people there also trying to do the same thing. $40 there and back. What a steal. That includes parking, everything. BYOB. It's going to be a great time. Let us know. Sign up. We can't wait to see you for the Showcase of the Immortals. Timmy, and what a show we have being lined up here in Philadelphia. We're super excited, and let's just jump right into it, Timmy. The hottest Raw in recent history. Some say the highest rated Raw of all time. Let's listen to a clip real quick. This is Cody Rhodes, the beginning of the Raw, cutting a promo.
Clearly, I respect the tribal chief, but make no mistake about it. I am aware that Roman Reigns is the man who screwed me out of the biggest dream I ever had in my life last year at WrestleMania. So although I respect you, Roman Reigns, please understand, I hate your guts.
Now, Cody came out. He was ready to go. They start with him. Hot crowd in Chicago. It's packed. It's buzzing. The crowd was hot, as we like to say. He's going on his rant, talking about Roman, talking about their fight, and we need more of that. And then The Rock's music hits, and the place goes crazy. The Rock comes out. I love this new entrance. And can we talk for a minute, Timmy, about the way it's shot? The new stage, it looks like a more elongated. I don't know if it's just because they were in Chicago and that has something to do with how the layout of the arena is, but a longer like backdrop, more horizontal and like just a little bit shorter, more pyro. Like it was pretty cool to see. I see a more cinematic, more edgy type of product being put out here over the last month or so, where the way they shoot things, we talked about last week how they did that one take where they had Sami Zayn and they followed him all the way through the ropes and went right by, and then it cut to R-Truth and Miz. The way this whole thing was shot, and he's calling out Roman, and then the Rock's music hits, the place goes crazy, and it cuts to that side view where you can see the screen, the lightning's flashing, the smoke is coming up, and then appears the final boss. What do you think about the way they're doing this? And I guess how, when it's leading into Netflix, do you like the way this is going?
Yeah, I mean, you can feel the build really towards what they want to be, right? And that's heading towards Netflix, and that whole deal is already done. And look, the revenue won't come in until they actually start featuring right on Netflix, right? It's not like they're getting money right now from Netflix to do what they're doing, but I mean, I'm sure that they're getting some sort of assistance from The Rock being involved and his company. I mean, he's been involved in film for years now, and there is that element. There's different writers now that have come on board, and there's just a different element to it. And I've seen a lot of like wrestling Twitter um, reference to, is this the new Attitude Era? And Tom, it feels like there is like a shift in what wrestling was to now what wrestling is becoming. And we're on the precipice, I feel, of a whole new era. I don't know if you want to call it the Attitude Era again, but I'll
It'll
tell you
become
what,
its own thing. It's pretty incredible. Like I'm
it's an
liking the shift.
it's a certain adjustment. And maybe it's the adjustment era or whatever you want to call it, but it's something that is different. It has more teeth to it, and it's just the production value, and it's raising really, I think, the stakes for everyone in that locker room. I feel like every time they go out, they need to perform at the highest level. I think we talked about this before, that everyone is elevating each other in the locker room, and the performances have been better. The segments have been better. The promos, the cuts have been better. Look, there's some things that we don't like the Bronson Reed like intro where he's like apparently Godzilla running through a city. Like
Yeah.
there's some stuff that you can get rid of, like the Roman Reigns feature where he looks like a gorilla, like, just the giant, like, it's just like some of that stuff is weird, right?
Yes.
But what they're doing with The Rock, I think, is insane. And he's being heralded right now as one, like, this is his best heel work of all time. Um, and again, there's been times where I've been out of the wrestling, whole industry for quite the period where I can't sit there and evaluate all of the different heel rocks and all that stuff, but I keep on hearing it over and over and over again. Um, it's it feels very Undertaker, like that whole
Mm.
that peer ministry like period. Not
I'm
saying
thinking
that.
like more superhero-ish. I was thinking like a Thanos type, and I know there's been a lot of references to that. And
Well, no,
um,
I'm not saying like I'm not. I'm just saying in terms of like the elevation of the heel. So like the Undertaker back then, like when he was like the minister, dude, he's like crucifying people. Like
right,
he's going like crazy stuff. Like there was stuff that was happening that you're just like, dude, this guy is sinister, like
right. Sinister,
nasty.
good word.
And he's really, and I think The Rock is really like kind of pushing that envelope where he's a heel. People still love him, but he's kind of blurring the lines of like crazy versus like sinister, right? Like
Right. He's got that $1 million smile, but
he's
he's
loot.
just saying these things that are just,
Yeah,
vile and kind of like very, very crossing the line when referencing someone's mom. And then what we later get into the show. So The Rock comes out, the place goes crazy, and he goes into the ring and just they have a stare down. They're chanting, they're going back and forth, and he does something that I love. He walks out. Well, he says something to Cody, and then he walks out, and the place starts booing because people want to see The Rock talk. They're there to see him put on the show in Memphis and entertain. And here he is coming out, and you think, oh man, we're gonna get an all-time promo, and he does nothing and just says, "Screw you guys, I'm not doing anything."
well,
And it was great.
his appearance wasn't even announced either. So like that was a
Right.
surprise, him showing up. So that was another thing because look, the unannounced appearance from a major star like that always hits differently, right? It always catches you off guard. And for us leading up to WrestleMania, I don't understand why we don't see both guys, both Roman Reigns and The Rock, on every single show leading up. Like, they should both, like, The Rock should be there and Roman Reigns should be there constantly. This should be the build. And yeah, like, just to get back to your point before I get into Roman Reigns, because I really want to get into him too as well. But for what The Rock did to set up that whole night was great. He comes out, he whispers again in Cody's ear like he did when this whole thing started, right? It's almost like a callback, right? He whispers into Cody's ear, and then Cody walks off without saying a word, right? This is what happens with The Rock. Rock whispers into Cody's ear, except The Rock walks off, right, without a word, right? And Cody seems stunned. So it's almost like a callback. It almost mirrors like how this whole thing started. But it leaves the mind open to wonder what was said,
right,
and if it has any bearing on what's going to happen tonight. Like, The Rock's not just going to walk out, say something to Cody, walk off, and that's going to be it. Like, you felt like something was going to happen, and then you also get the reference from Seth Rollins that night. I think that it feels like something weird is going to happen tonight. Something feels off about tonight, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it just it had like just all this cachet and all this just build up to it. Just that it set the tone really for the whole night.
And it delivered. So Rock leaves, and then they cut away, and they come back, and Rock's walking through the back, and he's stopped by someone to interview.
Yes, I am backstage hoping to get a word with The Rock before he leaves the building after a moment that has excuse me, Rock, I have to ask the question on everybody's mind. What exactly did you say to Cody Rhodes out there?
Go ask Cody Rhodes.
I love that too. Go ask Cody Rhodes. I love that. And the night goes on. Next thing you know, chaos ensues. A melee breaks out. Everyone's fighting. Cody's going against Jimmy, Solo. He's in the back.
Well, we've got company.
There it is.
Yeah, Jimmy Uso wondering, and Solo Sikoa as well, wondering why it took him so long to get out of here.
Wait a minute.
Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins felt something was coming. Said it was going to be one of those nights. And now Cody takes the fight to Jimmy.
He promised Jey Uso that he and Cody would have his back.
Solo Sikoa, Seth Rollins fighting one another as Solo's driven into the ring post. And they're going to fight through the... And now McIntyre gets involved. McIntyre was stomped by the world champ Seth Rollins earlier tonight.
And out shows The Rock and lays a beat down on Cody. Something like you haven't really seen before. Let's just take a quick listen to it.
Look at this. Look at this. It's perfect. Chicago is perfect. Upset that The Rock wasn't saying anything. The Rock's got your attention now, doesn't he? You pieces of shit.
Awesome. That was so
Mama Rose.
awesome.
Look at him. Look at him. Now, Mama Rose. The Rock has got a special gift. Look at this now. Here's your belt. The Rock is a man of his word. He said he's gonna put your son's blood on this belt. And at WrestleMania, your son's blood and your tears. Yeah. Look at this. Get in here close, cameraman. Get in there close. Hey, put your head. Look at that. Look at this. Mama Rose. There's your blood. There's your blood. Look at that. There it is. There it is.
The Rock's wiping his blood on the belt that says Mama Rose on it.
Mama Rose, I want you to look at your boy. Look at your boy, Mama Rose. Look at your boy. Look at the blood.
Man, like the scene of this outside in the bus area with the rain coming down. Cody's busted open, bleeding. He takes off the belt that says Mama Rhodes. He wipes it on it. Everything is, man, it was pure cinema. It was incredible.
And the other thing, there's just a couple things that jumped to me, and everyone pointed them out on Twitter again, which like I just sometimes I wish we had we were just doing a live podcast all the time.
Yeah.
When this happens, but everyone noticed the same thing that I noticed. You see, as soon as The Rock opens the door, they get out like where the RVs are, and there you see John Cena and a Stone Cold trailer like it's 1998 or 2003. You're like, what is that? What is that doing there? That's like strange. It's just weird. And people are like, well, now there's speculation that these guys are going to show up to WrestleMania. Tom, it is unprecedented. 6 weeks ago, we're sitting here and saying, hey, we got to ramp these storylines up. Like, we got to get this thing going. Let's get this thing moving a little bit. Like, what are we doing here, Tom?
Yeah, right. What are we doing here?
And look at us 2 weeks out, and it feels like this whole WWE universe is about to explode. And I'm pumped about it. I'm happy to have a ticket in both shows. It's going to be my first live event in quite some time, and dude, I cannot wait. And really, I think the one thing that I really just want to see is I can't believe that The Rock has really committed as much time and effort into what he's doing right now. He is fully invested in this character, in this heel turn. I mean, if it ends at WrestleMania, I'll be sad, but my God, it's been quite the ride. So,
Well, let's talk about that. First of all, you said 6 weeks ago we were looking for something, and to be honest, the build has been okay up until this point, but this is what we needed, and we've been calling for it. We needed Rock to beat down Cody, and we're going to get to some other things about that in just a moment, but that scene, the way it was done, the way it was shot, we were talking about earlier in the show, the cinematic way they're doing everything was just, it's not being done in any company in the United States like that. I don't see that on AEW or Ring of Honor or whatever. Not like that. And maybe it's because of the star power that's involved in what's going on. The Rock is obviously a movie star. He knows how to do it and hit the scene. He nailed this one. He hit it out of the park. A little repetitive, I guess some people would say, with the things
I
he
liked
said.
it.
It didn't bother me at all.
I
thought it
loved
was awesome.
look at you now. Look at you.
Yeah.
Look, like, I don't know if you ever been in a fight before, or if you ever been just in the heat of the moment, you just say what comes to your mind, right? Like, it's just, I loved it. I loved the whole thing. I think the HJB was a little critical of the commentary during that whole beatdown, but look, we were looking for something vicious, something to add to what this whole storyline has been, right? It's been bubbling. You get a couple slaps here and there, and you're like, what, these guys are just slapping each other? Like, what the hell is going on? And then it just exploded on Monday night, and it was awesome. It was really, it was called. And I also thought, like, at that point, and I don't know if you remember, Tom, this, but there was a scene I remember years ago in the Attitude Era where The Rock and Stone Cold were fighting on a bridge. And I think Stone Cold got tossed off the bridge into the water.
Yeah.
There was a situation there where it looked like The Rock was going to throw Cody Rhodes off the side of.
Oh, yeah, where like the ramp to the car area. I was like, oh boy.
I was like,
that would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, but like, then how do you explain it? Because that's it just seemed like a hell of a fall. Like,
but that's something where they could use it maybe not to Cody but like to take someone out officially and have them like maybe if they could have done that to Punk or something where they put him over that spot and
What
they
they
have a
did with
landing area where no one sees and then you cut to him and he's on the ground.
like an
Man, that'd be cool.
Yeah. But again, like we're 2 weeks away from WrestleMania. You can't like sit there and sell that and like, oh yeah, he fell off a 15
Right.
foot
We don't want the
Orlando.
broken arm versus Lesnar again, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
But so a couple things is one, we talked about that slow build, and I want to talk about and just kind of reference back to what we were saying last week about a Will Ospreay and an AEW. We've been talking about for 6 weeks that they need to do something. We need to ramp this up. We need to ramp this up. And this episode was so good because they didn't do it all at once. They took their time. It was marinating. The crowd wanted it. The crowd wanted it. The crowd wanted it. And finally, we get that. The Rock comes out. He doesn't say a word in the beginning and then delivers that. The whole deal of it was just done so well that it's kind of like I'm just saying when we're talking about you can do all the crazy stuff in the world that you want, but it has to have meaning. And man, it felt like it really meant something on Monday night. It was
Tom, it's
wow.
in show business, and it's the age old adage is that you keep them on the edge of your seats, right?
Mhm.
And then you don't deliver. And then you don't deliver. And then you control the crowd and then you finally deliver. And they're getting really, really good at this, where they're not giving everything at once, right? And it's really been a cool um I don't know, just method on how they're really handling storylines and developing things. And like, look, dude, and I'm just going to get off topic for a second. Make sure you redirect me back. I'll be the first. I am a huge Chad Gable guy. I want Chad Gable to be in that Intercontinental Championship match against Gunther at WrestleMania. They didn't give that to me. Okay. But they got me on the edge of my seat wondering, why is Chad Gable now assisting Sami Zayn? Like, what is going on with this, right? But I'm more curious to see how that ends up, right? I wanted the Creed brothers in the WWE Tag Team title match for WrestleMania. I'm on the edge of my seats watching these guys like wrestle, but you know what? They built DIY up to the point where I'm believing that they're actually a legitimate, formidable tag team threat to the title. Like, this is what they're doing. They're building up guys that aren't really even like were an afterthought years ago, right?
Right.
Like guys that weren't even, and now they're making them so mainstream. It's hard to just ignore them, right? And I love that method. I love that, like, every time they come out there's a meaningful match. Shit, we're doing hashtag save Ibar here. Like, what are we doing here?
But
So
just
let's redirect back.
such a great job. I loved it. I loved everything about it. My one issue is that we are just too far detached. It's Cody Rock, Cody Rock, Cody Rock. The Cody Roman storyline isn't elevated to where it needs to be. We've been having, it's been so much back and forth with Rock and Cody and Seth that Roman and Cody has just fallen off. It's not to the level and that's the Sunday night main event. That's the number one, the main event. And I would have loved to see Roman there. He wasn't there. I felt like he needed to be there, but I'm hopeful that this Friday we get something big, big, big from Roman Reigns. We need something along these lines this Friday from Roman Reigns.
Yeah, and my question is why? Why does he have days off at this point? We're building up to what you're saying, what people are saying, not you, Tom, but what people are saying is going to be the greatest WrestleMania of all time, right? And Roman Reigns isn't involved in, I mean, he's involved in the storyline, but why is he not hip and hit? Why is he right there, step for step with Cody? With Cody's doing both Raw and SmackDown. The Rock is doing both Raw and SmackDown. Where is
The
Roman
Usos,
Reigns?
Jimmy and Jay,
They're
Seth is
everywhere.
everywhere.
All
Yes.
your star power is everywhere, and your heavyweight, your world heavyweight champion is again, he's doing less. And people say less is more. No, not right now. No, it's not. Because The Rock is dominating this entire 2-night main event special. And so is Cody Rhodes, and The Rock is an afterthought at this point. So he needs to be thrusted in some way, shape, or form because we have one, two, we had three now. We have two SmackDowns and we got one Raw left before WrestleMania. So something needs to happen big to elevate Rock versus Cody. I know it doesn't, or not Rock. See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
My mind
Roman.
is Roman versus Cody, and it has to be elevated and it has to be done soon.
Right. I wish that, and I don't know if it was supposed to happen. Maybe The Rock's flight wasn't there in time, but I wish what happened on Monday, and I loved Monday's show. I wish it would have happened on Friday. I wish Rock would have showed up then with Roman there. They beat him down, and Roman walks by like, you know, good job. Way to go. Instead, we got this like awkward kind of promo where there was a couple good lines back and forth, but the snap, it was just like it was
Yeah,
mm,
it was. Yeah,
it was
it
average.
was. Yeah, it was forgettable. And that's a shame because I keep on talking about. Excuse me, I keep on talking about Roman Reigns and the way he cuts promos is just strange to me. It's there's times where he's good, but like he's right on that like a fine line between like being like a nerd almost
Yeah.
and just like really awesome. And if he missteps, I feel like he sounds like an idiot. And I feel like the aura around him is bigger than what he actually is. I feel like that whole thing, the whole character they've created, he's performing just like everybody else, but I feel like it's harder for him to be that guy. I feel like he does better when he's just on like normal shows, like when he's on like McAfee or when he's doing like interviews on like Jimmy Fallon and like I see him doing stuff like that and he sounds like a genuine like badass. And then he tries to cut promos when he's doing it live and it just he's like, "What are you sound like an idiot to me." And I'm like, "No, you sound like an idiot, dude." Like I mean,
Maybe he'll check Rock. Like, who told you to do that? Who told you you could go do what you did?
well, we asked for that, remember? Like
Right. But
we
maybe
said,
that's what happens
"Why are
this
you going
Friday.
like you're out here singing songs?" Like remember we said like that's
Yeah.
what should happen. Like he should come in and be like, "Yo, dude, like I'm your tribal chief. Stop singing songs. Like you're doing shit without my authority here. Like you're running rampant. I got to reel you in, god damn it. Like let's go."
Yeah.
Like we got a tag match that we need to win. Like it's got to be more emphasized, in my opinion, over the next three shows, and it better happen soon.
Yeah. And the go home shows usually like I feel like we're gonna get some stuff, but I don't know, not to this Friday I think we need to have something big. I'm hoping we have something big. We will see. One more thing I'd like to mention about The Rock before we move forward is he is now involved. The attack on Cody to me solidifies that he is definitely with Roman. There may be a chance for them to butt heads at WrestleMania if things go down a certain way. But this to me means he's in it for the long haul and puts that stamp on there that it's official. He's here. He's sticking around. He will be involved. Might not be every week like he's been doing recently, but he's going to be showing up here and there throughout the year, and then hopefully ramping up to shows like WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, stuff like that. But that attack to me means that he's there for the long haul, and we could potentially be getting that story, that build that we've wanted to Rock Roman maybe next year at WrestleMania.
You put the one tweet that really like kind of I got my eye on a little bit that I saw after the whole attack with The Rock. You put any credence into the whole Gold Dust stuff?
Gold Dust.
Not Gold Dust, but like
Yeah,
could
I don't.
Dustin?
His contract's not up until later on, I think this year or till 2025. I was looking. I mean, maybe they release him.
Don't you find it interesting that he's commenting on WWE programming now?
I
Like,
do. That's a good point. I do find that interesting, Tim. Like, why would
so
he be commenting about? He works for another company. He really shouldn't be commenting. I mean, he's allowed to because that's his brother, but I don't know.
it just
Doesn't seem like good business.
just keeping an eye on it. I mean, they are competitors. It's just it makes to me it's like, all right, could he possibly show up? And I mean, not that that would be a huge thing, but I think for Cody it would be a huge thing.
I think it would be pretty cool.
Um, and then obviously there's again, I'll just mention this, but MJF has been removed from all AEW merchandising, programming, website. It could be just a ploy from AEW to fuck with, the WWE universe, but whatever. It's just it's curious.
Interesting. Something to note. All right, so let's get to the other championship that will be on the line at WrestleMania. Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre, and we're in Chicago, obviously CM Punk's hometown, and as advertised, CM Punk comes out and he has a lot to say, and he hits it all, swinging for the fences. Let's hear to a couple things that he said.
Somebody who hasn't talked about me, hasn't said a word. The Rock. And I'd like to think that's because 10 years ago he remembers coming face to face with the Second City Saint and realizing that his arms were just too short to box with God.
Now that is referencing a promo from years ago that he cut talking about himself as God, and a lot of people you know you know how I feel about CM Punk. Okay, he continues.
Pat McAfee.
Whoa.
Got yourself a little program, I understand. I apologize. I'm not a daily listener. I listen to the experience in the drive-thru, but you had a guest on your show.
Understandable.
By the name of Roman Reigns. And I sit back and I wonder, why does a guy like Roman Reigns need to bring little old one-armed CM Punk up? He's earned that right, and I respect him for it. But I have a feeling that me coming back and climbing back up the mountain and on Roman's way back down the mountain, we're going to see each other pretty soon.
Then he's interrupted by Drew McIntyre, and they share some blows on the microphone. Let's listen to that.
Man, I just realized I'm wearing this shirt. What bad manners. You know, on the back it says #1 in the checklist, injure CM
Drew
Punk.
McIntyre, I ain't never had to put another man's name on a t-shirt to sell it.
Oh, we got another shirt. 2-shirt gimmick.
He's good, dude. He's good.
Struggled to get out of that thing with my biceps, something you've probably never had an issue with. You want to know the most ironic thing about you, Punk? The straight edge thing.
What the?
You never drink, you never do drugs, yet you spend all your time in rehab.
Good. It's good.
It's good. And you know what? As much as I have had a history of not being the biggest CM Punk fan, the guy goes for it, and he's fearless on the mic when it comes to battling back and forth.
Like he,
And I love how he calls out The Rock. He calls out Roman. He's giving it right back to Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins.
like he has a hard time of slowing down, right? Like I think he's so good and he can kill you. Because I got a little nervous there, not nervous, but I just got a little hesitant there when he was going after Drew, and he's so quick witted, dude. And I'm like, oh my God, Drew is walking into an absolute like inferno here. Like, hopefully he comes back with the right thing, right? Because you can go back and forth on a mic with somebody and it could fall flat, like totally flat, right? If one dude's has the upper hand, it's just like breaking balls with your boys, right? Like you can say whatever you think is the greatest comeback in the world. And if it doesn't hit, your boys are going to kill you.
Yeah, right.
And I felt like that was a situation there where Drew got tied up a little bit and he gets tied up. And I know you didn't play the clip, but he gets tied up where he talks about
Being the
how
chosen one.
he's the chosen one. And I thought, dude, I'm sorry, CM Punk could have roasted the entire WWE right there.
Mhm.
He got set up. It was on the platter, and he did it perfectly without naming names. He kept it where it should have been. And everyone knew what he was talking about when he says, "Who who called you? Who told you you were the chosen one?
Yeah, say his name.
Say his
And then
name."
he's like, because, and then he kept it going. He goes, because you weren't chosen by the people. You
Right,
weren't
yeah.
chosen by everyone here. And it was a genius way of referencing Vince McMahon without
With
saying his name. No one
absolutely.
happier that Vince McMahon is in the scandal and the trouble that he is than CM Punk.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely. But it was
that
so
was
well.
great. It was very
Yeah.
well done. My issue with CM Punk is on all of this is he's a
Uh,
little delusional. And he talks about The Rock years ago and the referencing that he doesn't have the arms long enough to box with God. Hey, who's the biggest star in WWE right now? It's The Rock, dude.
all
I
right.
mean, there's no denying it.
Just relax. Can you just put
I
that
am
aside?
relaxed.
Put your hate aside for a second, okay? Just let it be. Listen, this guy has to stay relevant because he is part of the future. So
Right.
bringing him out on a Monday night in Chicago on Raw 2 weeks before WrestleMania is probably a good idea, right?
And Timmy, like you said, we've said months ago, you said the straw that stirs the drink. He touched on Rock. He touched on Roman, Drew
Yep.
McIntyre,
Mhm.
his feud with Seth Rollins. Four great potential feuds for CM Punk to have when he comes back and is healthy. I mean, it was very well done. Hot crowd, hometown. I loved it. Seth Rollins comes out. They go back and forth. And I even liked what Seth had to say that you need me and how it, and the setup there, the whole thing that the crowd chants referee.
Yeah.
Punk goes down, gives him the 1, 2, 3 with the opposite hand. But Seth or CM Punk is now going to be on commentary, which is as much crap as I've given CM Punk. I think he is made to be on commentary in the future. When his wrestling career is over, I feel like he will be very good as a commentator in any form on whether it be Raw, SmackDown, NXT, wherever. He will be great on commentary.
And it also opens the door for some type of interference, right? Like
It
it's
does, yes.
let's be honest, like that is in the back of the minds of everybody because think about rehab right now. He got injured the Royal Rumble and at the end of January. We're in the beginning of April. That's almost 3 months, right? A
Hmm.
little less than 3 months. I thought they said anywhere between like 3 to 6, right?
Right.
For his injury. So I mean, it
I think it was 4 to 6,
four to
but
six.
whatever. I know it was like just after
Regardless,
Mania.
we're pushing right now, right? Like we're talking about possibly SummerSlam return for CM Punk, right? That's really kind of if we're eyeing a date for him to be back in ring, he's already talking about being medically cleared, right? Like we're hearing language like that. That means that he's probably a little bit ahead of schedule, right?
Right.
So, could we see a little nugget coming up for WrestleMania leading into something bigger? Yeah. And he's done a great job, but the guy that's done the better job has been our boy Drew McIntyre, who's kept him really relevant on social media, in his promos, consistently with the t-shirts. So I mean, he's really carried CM Punk while he's been injured. So he should thank him for it.
Yeah, and I have to say, I feel like this is leading towards Seth dropping the title at Mania and Drew McIntyre winning and then having the feud leading forward with CM Punk. Maybe at SummerSlam that comes to um a head there. But him being on commentary, Seth and Drew fighting back, something that we gotta note is in the back when they're talking with Miz and R-Truth. Behind that, in the background, you close up, what do you see? And this is something that we've loved WWE doing. It's all that stuff that we talk about, the swerves, where are we going, what can possibly happen. We're trying to find that little breadcrumb that's going to lead us to what's really going on. And in the back, you see Paul Heyman and Drew McIntyre talking. What is this, and what does this mean? Timmy, I've been saying it for months. I feel like Drew McIntyre is still going to join the Judgment Day. The cash in, the turn. He joins the Judgment Day. Mommy has made deals with Bloodline prior. Drew being the new, he can do it by himself and kind of keep them out of the mix. I don't know. I see a little thing going on
I
still.
mean, there is a connection, right? Because Mommy has had those conversations with Paul Heyman on her own. Um, Heyman has now had conversations with Drew. Drew's had conversations with Mommy. It's an interesting circle that he's aligned himself with.
And one more wrinkle, I texted the HJB about this. Mommy and the man Becky Lynch, they go at it. Dom Dom's out there. She punches Dom Dom in the face, which by the way was a pretty stiff shot if you
Was
saw
a good
that.
shot. It was a good shot.
And like she can punch him in the face, but you can't like he can't throw her into the ropes or something. You know what I mean? Like he's a heel. I feel like his character would attack a woman at that point. You know, like
Yeah.
she's
Give her
she's
a
a big
frog
girl.
splash.
Yeah, something like just, and I'm not saying to like bully Ray her off the top through a table, but maybe a little something like a chokehold or something like that. I don't know. But so Mommy hates Becky Lynch. Not only to beat Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, but to put the ultimate FU, help facilitate Seth Rollins losing his title as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're diving deep, I mean, you're going deep cuts. Yeah.
No, yeah.
That's certainly a route that you can go. Um, but yeah, I just everything seems to be working in the right direction. I love this whole triangle with CM Punk and Seth and Drew and yeah, again, we already talked about we need more from Roman with that whole main event. Um where do you want to head next to, Tom? Do you want to head to Gunther? Where do you want to go?
Yeah, I
Where do
want
you
to
want to
talk
go?
about Gunther. Timmy, obviously, Sami Zayn and Gunther is the setup match, but a lot of questions going on now with where Chad and Sammy's relationship is going. Chad Gable, one of our favorite guys, he's now going to be helping Sami Zayn beat Gunther. Where do you see this going? Is this setting up a turn? Is this a swerve? Is this something that's going on, or do we see, oh, he helps him win, and that's the heroic story? Is this the Rocky story that we're getting?
I doubt it. The reason why I doubt it is because they've fully moved away from Alpha Academy and Gable leading that whole contingent, right? Like he's not even he's not doing promos anymore really that often with them. He's basically solo on his own. And I think they've identified that he is somebody you can really kind of attach your horse to or your wagon to, and he's shown that he can carry a match, right? And he has star potential on his own. And I think what we're seeing here with Sammy is that they're setting him up as just like this guy who is just a down on his luck type of guy, right? And he's getting these wins, and he ends up losing against Bronson Reed on Monday night because he's distracted, right? And he's just not, he doesn't have his head clear. And who's the perfect person to help him out? It's Chad Gable, who is just the most technical guy and has come closest to beating Gunther. And he could be this hope that can, kind of lead Sammy in the right direction and be his Apollo Creed, if you will, right? Like, hey, we got to change your style, right? Like,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're gonna fight Mr. T, you got to fight like this, right? Um, so I feel like it might be like a huge heel turn here, heel for Chad Gable, where he goes on his own, um, and he might cost Sammy. Like Sammy might have him at the end, and then all of a sudden, the biggest turn, like Chad Gable, All American. It would be pretty fucking epic, dude. And he would get a lot of heat because he's playing the family card, the whole deal. It means more to me, and maybe he just goes selfish, right? And like Owen Hart did. What about me? What
Mhm.
about me? What about my life?
Yeah. The King of
And
Hearts.
yeah, and he goes in that direction and wants to take it for himself. And like, no one's gonna, if anyone's gonna beat Gunther, it's gonna be me. I don't know. Maybe it goes that direction, but it would be interesting to see. It just doesn't seem like Chad's gonna play this whole, hey, I'm gonna help you win that title. You're gonna go out, and we're gonna win, and we're
Yeah.
gonna win for the Gipper. And
Well, even the way his demeanor and the way he delivers things and says things, he was always so positive, Mister. Thank you and yes and blah, 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 and like we're gonna go out there, we're gonna go and this and that, and then it started in that gauntlet match when he's saying like tap out, it's my time, I'm gonna win, and like saying heelish things, but then kind of not really doing anything after the match, just kind of sadly walking away, and then it goes to um him saying in the back, you can't beat him. And then it's just the way he's delivering things has a heel type edge to it. I don't really want to see Chad Gable as a heel. I like him as a good guy, but whatever gets him thrust into the spotlight to where he can showcase
yeah,
on a like a Gunther-esque type run would be incredible. We're huge Chad Gable fans, and I can't wait to see it. Um, let's talk about the Mommy and Becky Lynch build. I'm still liking this build. I can't wait for
before you
this.
before
Yeah.
you before you hit that, can we just hit quick before you, because there's something that really you mentioned Will Ospreay, right?
hmm
And the one thing that I really wanted to mention was number one, the JD McGill or the JD
McDonough
McDonough
Ricochet match
Ricochet match
was
was
awesome.
insane. Okay. And Ricochet has come out and shown out over the last 3 weeks, and he's done things that, again, we've seen before, but like we don't see him often. And during this match against JD McDonough, he hits a Canadian destroyer, which
You don't see
is
in WWE.
no, it was so insane. I had to rewind it when it happened. I rewound it and I was like, dude, what was that move? And then he did another, I think, a reverse Hurricanrana on, and JD
Yeah.
McDonough again. He's probably one of the more underrated wrestlers in the business right now in WWE because the guy sells everything and he does it exceptional. Um, but we talked about Will Ospreay and we watched that match a couple weeks ago on Dynamite where these guys were just hitting like finisher after finisher, and guys were just popping up, within a second. And we see JD McDonough go get hit by this Canadian destroyer, which you rarely see in the WWE. And the dude, it just it looked like it was just an absolute just death sentence.
Right.
And he sold it and he carried it out the right way. And it just had more of an impact than it
It
did when
meant
we,
something.
yeah. And it's just really, again, it's timing is everything, right? And less is more. You don't see it that often. When you see it, it has more of an impact. And it's crazy, but it seems like Ricochet is going to get a little bit of a push here, and they're finally realizing. I don't know if they finally realize it because they know he has in ring talent. It's just a matter of what is his ceiling, you know?
Right.
And like because the mic skills have been really kind of suspect, but just want to give shout out to Ricochet. Hope I don't know if this continues. He's been taking apart the Judgment Day over the last 3 weeks. I don't know if it's going to lead to a WrestleMania match, but hey, I mean he puts on a show every time he goes out. So I just wanted to mention that, and then let's get.
Absolutely. And like when we talk about WWE and their styles, and I know we've touched on it on this show, but the way they have been able to make things mean something, and it's not every week you're getting the home run, and it's because you have to hit the singles. You have to have this build, these steps to take to that when you're craving, you want that fine, please, like the crowd is begging for something and they give it to you, it just means so much more. And so when you have an Osprey, and like it's like we're shitting on Osprey all the time, but like we're just trying to make our point as far as we kind of like the style where it means something when it happens, not just look at this guy and the amazing physical ability that he has over and over and over and over and over and over again to where you become numb to it. That's the style we like. So just throwing that out there. Um, All right, so then let's get back to Mommy versus the man Becky Lynch. These two came out, cut a promo, and I want to talk about how Mommy is really evolved, and we talk about her the full package, in ring, one of the best in the business, character wise, one of the best, and on the mic, she's had some times where I felt that she might not be able to hang with the likes of a Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch and CM Punk have a lot of similarities to me. There's a lot of parallels with those two. But either way, she comes out and she comes fire and she has this to say.
Because I want to leave you alive so you can sit on your couch, watch me do what I do, and while you sit there, I want you to sit next to your daughter, Rue. And I want you to listen to her call me Mommy.
That line's great. You bring in the daughter, and to tie in, her nickname Mommy and say your daughter's going to call me Mommy is just it's an ultimate dig. It's awesome. It's well done. Whoever wrote that, if she came up with that herself, well done on that. This is a match I'm circling. I'm praying Mommy wins, but I really do, and I got to give credit to Becky Lynch. I'm invested. I can't wait to see this match. I think it's going to be one of the better ones at WrestleMania, and it's just adding to that already stacked card that we get going into Philadelphia.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, in the ring at the same time as Dom and Becky then sucker punches the shit out of Dom.
I
Just
thought she's
absolutely.
gonna legit drop him. If
Yeah.
you see that in slow mo, she clocked him.
Yeah, she gets him good. It was a solid promo. Look, the build to this has been really good. Um, there's been a lot of stuff with Nia Jax, and she's really carried her weight well, which I think no pun intended, but I feel like all three of these women right now have done a really nice job of carrying the women's division while Charlotte's out, right? And then you
Mhm.
add a Bianca Belair who is now tied up in the Bailey situation, right? Like that whole situation is getting kind of dicey because I mean the it, the women's division, we talked about this last week, is loaded.
Right.
And we still Tiffany Stratton is has been doing some nice things and like she's really kind of coming into her own, but she's not really in the title chase yet. And they
Liv
brought back
Morgan and
and what's her name? Glow.
oh yeah. Um yeah, glow. Feel the glow. I know Naomi.
Naomi and obviously Jade
Jade
Cargill,
Cargill.
who
Teasing something big this Friday. So
Friday
maybe we
night
finally get something from Jade Cargill going into Mania.
she officially signed with SmackDown, so she's a SmackDown resident now. It it has the potential to be so insane with the women. And the women just they do so much better things now than it used to be back in the day. But this mommy thing with Becky is gonna have a hard time living up to what mommy and
And
Charlotte did
Charlotte did last year.
last year. And look, Becky's been doubted in the past. Like we questioned her with the Trish Stratus match, and then she came out and did the crazy cage match with her, which was electrifying. And she's delivered. She's delivered time and time again. So like there's no question if she can do it. She has it in her. It's just a matter of, it's going to be a different type of match. It's not going to be the similar type of match that Charlotte and Mommy had. So there's a lot of potential there. I saw Bailey saying something about why can't women main event, both nights, and I'm like, all right,
Oh, here we go.
let's pump the brakes here, Bailey.
Bailey, don't forget, we had a all women's PLE years ago. They haven't had one since.
Yeah.
Let's ask ourselves why. Okay? I'm not trying to be a jerk here. The women's division, we have given it so much praise. It's so great. Mommy was just the main event at Elimination Chamber. Her and Nia Jax. Nia Jax. All right, Timmy. That is going to wrap up another episode of Jabroni Drive. What an episode it was. What a week. What a 10 days we have coming up leading to WrestleMania. I can't wait. Showcase of the Immortals. The show is going to be incredible. I'm running on fumes. It's been a long day. A lot of travel. Sorry for being all over the place to the listeners out there if I was, but we tried to keep it going in the straight and talk about the big stuff and get it going. Timmy, what do you have to say to all the Schmidt Lavelites out there? Oh, yeah. Tell them, Timmy.
Oh, yeah. Everyone knows that listening to this podcast was just
too sweet.
And when you listen to Jabroni Drive, you know that you're a jabroni
for life. That's right. When you listen to Jabroni Drive, you're jabroni for life. New episodes every week. Big episode this Friday on SmackDown. We're expecting a lot. Roman Reigns, we need to see you. Jade Cargill, we need to see you. Until next time, my name's Tom Lavelle for Timothy Schmidt. Peace.